I just do our Facebook because...
Welcome to the Prisoner2Painter Podcast, stories of inspiration, where we talk about mental health, addiction, religion, becoming a business owner and self-sufficient, for what, when, where, and why. Join us and we can be your local hope dealer.
Inspiration and dedication. I came a long way from sleeping in them pages. I got my life back. I feel amazing. Life's a book, don't get stuck on sad pages. Rainy days with no money. Hard work leads to days that are sunny. Looking back, it was all needed. The problems, the pain, the trauma, the grieving. You are now tuned in to the Prisoner2Painter. Prisoner2Painter. Hard work, dedication. Rainy days, inspiration. Prisoner2Painter.
And now, a word from your local hope dealer.
Welcome to the Prisoner2Painter Podcast. I'm Nathan McDermott.
And I'm Katie McDermott.
And today joining us, host and owner of More Than a Pretty Face, Carey Whitaker.
Good morning. Good evening. Woo, good evening, everybody.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for having the courage to tell your story.
Absolutely.
Also, thank you for, we both are in the same profession. So thank you for accepting the olive branch and also reaching back out. So
Absolutely. Awesome. I'm happy to be here. Trust and believe. I'm glad to be on this side of the mic tonight.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
We once talked about Stone Cold and The Rock, me and my buddy Cornell, and how both of those were like, they made each other better. Mm-hmm. So I feel like us in the community, instead of like staying away from each other, we could be like The Rock and Stone Cold and make each other better.
I've said the same thing from day one. Listen, I agree 100%. We are better together than we are fighting against each other. We all have a different message to deliver.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about that. Like, one thing we were talking at the radio station, and they were like, took it like we're a threat. I'm like, buddy, we don't want a radio, So it's like you are doing something. There's enough cake to be ate by everybody.
Absolutely.
And if there's not,
we'll bake another. Period.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So I've never found a good way to transition into this. So this is my transition. Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised right here in Jackson, Michigan, on the east side.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I'm an east sider for life. I've been there most of my life, honestly.
Okay.
I lived on the east side really until I was a mid-teenager.
Okay.
My mom took me out to the Northwest area when I was about 16 years old because I was not performing well in school here in Jackson. But born and raised, and I'm a true Viking at heart.
Awesome.
Class of 96, 30-year reunion coming up, y'all.
but you're a Mountie?
Yes,
okay.
But I'm actually part of Jackson High's reunion because I went there my whole life.
Awesome.
So
yeah.
I am part of the alumni at Jackson High.
Cool. And
I am part of the reunion. I also just designed our 30-year class reunion t-shirts.
Awesome.
So those are for sale right now.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Is there any website that we can put on a banner? Is there any website of yours or anything where people can find more of your stuff, or like morethanaprettyface.com or Facebook page?
So I have a YouTube, More Than a Pretty Face LT.
Okay.
You can find me there. I have not started getting season 5 there, but you can find seasons 2 through 4. I have an Etsy shop, which is at Etsy.com. Hold on, let me look at my Etsy because I have 2 different Etsys. I believe it's Etsy.com/Carey's Art Craft Boutique, but let me make sure. I'll get the information to you. But yes, you can shop with me.
Perfect.
I have a lot of branding out there on Etsy, but I have a lot of things. But you can find me on Facebook specifically. The podcast has its own page, More Than a Pretty Face Live Talk Show. Also, my personal page, Carey Whitaker. You can find me at either page.
Perfect.
You said More Than a Pretty Face LT on YouTube?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. We bounce around a lot, which
That's
is whatever. I know you do the same. I know you.
Absolutely.
What was your family dynamic like growing up? Mom, dad, brother, sister?
Yeah. So I had an older sister. She was 3 years older than me. I had a little brother that was 4 years younger than me, so I was a middle child. The irony of that, I'm definitely all day a middle child. They say we have middle child syndrome, and I'm here to confirm it is absolutely 100% true. I grew up with middle child syndrome. My mom and dad were married until I was about 8 years old. But honestly, I grew up in domestic violence. I grew up in alcoholism. My parents were hard workers. I'll be completely honest. They gave us everything we could ever want in this world. We were born, just kind of raised on trauma and hope and prayer. And My grandparents had us a lot. There was a lot of calls to the police. I'll be completely honest and transparent. It was not a good childhood.
Understood.
So many nights there was running out the back door with my siblings, going down to the neighbors to get the police involved.
Yeah.
We seen my mom endure a lot of trauma. So that was life as a little girl. My mom finally found her way out of that, and she found a good marriage. So through my older adolescence and teenage years, I had a great stepdad who stepped in and played a wonderful, amazing role.
Awesome.
As I tried to heal and repair my relationship with my dad, because honestly, I wanted my stepdad to adopt me at 13.
Okay.
And there was a physical altercation and all the things. My dad said, I'll never relinquish my child. So no matter what harm or wrong I've ever been to her as her father, I will find a way to heal it and fix it. And so,
Fair enough.
so there it is. And then my mom kind of moved me outside of the city.
Gotcha.
But up until then, it got better after it was pretty rough.
Yeah.
So that's early life.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Who was the most influential person in your life growing up?
There's two people that really top tier stand out to me. Honestly, this is a person that stepped in and kind of as a motherly role figure for me.
Awesome.
She also never had kids. To this day, she still plays the same role in my grandkids' life.
Cool.
This is my mom's younger sister, her baby sister, my Aunt Carol. Shout out to her. She's just always been that girl. She also, as a young woman, experienced alcoholism. She became sober at 18. And she has chose sobriety the rest of her life. She's in her 60s now, and she has chose sobriety since 18. So she has been a staple in many roles in my life, becoming a mother. My grandkids actually call her Aunt Carol Grandma or Aunt Grandma Carol. They really distinguish. So yeah, her and then my grandmother, of course. We spent every weekend at Grandma Snow's house. Bless her soul. She'll be 90 years old next Wednesday. So she was a staple in raising us through the trauma that we were experiencing at home. Absolutely. 100%.
Dude, people like her, people like Grandma Carol, gives hope to more people than she'll probably ever know. I got sober at 26, and to see somebody that can do it for 50 years proves to me that I can do it for 50 years.
Oh, absolutely.
So
I'll tell
incredible.
you, I'll be honest, she still does the steps. She still mentors. She still goes to AA meetings. She's never strayed. She goes right now she's wavered a little. My grandma's been going through some health stuff, but I'll be honest, she's never left the program.
Wow.
She growing up, we went to a lot of Al-Anon dances. I used to go to travel and go to Grand Rapids, and some of my core memories and love of music came from being in those spaces with people that chose sobriety and chose a clean life. As a little girl, I didn't see that at home, right? So for my aunt to care enough and understand enough that what we were going through wasn't right at home, she tried to put us in places to understand that people do change. And so for that reason, my love of music and my love of being around people that chose themselves probably really started in those spaces, honestly, because that was, as a little girl, that was some of the only safe spaces we made it to. Our family wasn't religious. We didn't go to church.
Gotcha.
Even though I had a Baptist preacher for an uncle, my dad's brother, they were down south, So yeah, that she's been a humongous staple in the woman I am today, honestly.
Awesome. I always like interviewing somebody who has been in our shoes because it's always a good interview. Like, it's always good. If you could go back in time to one day, not to change anything, you can't change nothing, just to observe, just to see it firsthand, what day would it be and why?
The day I took my state board cosmetology test and failed.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's the only regret I have in life.
Oh, okay.
Literally.
Gotcha.
I have one regret. I've made many bad decisions. I continue to strive to not make those decisions, but I'll be honest. The only thing I regret in life is that I didn't have the mindset at 17, 18 years old coming out of high school. I did this program through high school.
Awesome.
Absolutely loved to do hair and nails at that time, but also through the trauma response of where I had been, through my life, where I had been raised in. My sister, to kind of pivot to get back to the answer to this question, my sister got pregnant at 15 and had a baby, and she was praised kind of in our household, right? It was a very weird dichotomy. My mom was super young still at the time. And then she had another kid at 17. And so my mom's mothering disappeared completely when I was 13 years old. I really ran my own life, honestly. There wasn't many weekends after that I was home. There wasn't many weekends that my mom knew what I was doing, which transcended me also becoming an alcoholic at 13 years old. Not whether my mom knows that now or not. I don't have a relationship with her still, unfortunately. But I became an alcoholic at 13 due to the circumstances of what my sister chose due to the trauma, right? So then fast forward, I get 17. My mom and dad, my dad's in another town. He's on his third marriage now, right? My mom is now helping raise my nephews, right? And me and my brother kind of got forgot about even more in the picture. And so as all that was happening at 17, I had a fine boyfriend, you know what I'm saying? Back in the 90s, and he was, he wasn't from here and people didn't know him. And I chose motherhood with him. We very consciously made a decision. He was 19, I was 17. We decided we were going to become parents. And I was in high school. I was in cosmetology. I just knew I was going to be successful. I was going to be a hairdresser. I can have a kid. I can raise a baby, right? My parents never taught us anything other. You go to work, you work hard to get a paycheck, you pay the bills, and that's what happens, right? We weren't pushed into college or arts or anything. And so I had a child at 17. I graduated. I went to state boards. I passed the practical part of state board, which is actually super hard even to this day. But for some reason, I could not pass the written portion of this. And instead of my parents, especially my mom, who I lived with at the time, encouraging me to go back, she let me walk away. And so when I reflect and understand now what that looks like, because I have a daughter, bless her heart, that just experienced literally the identical situation. She's no longer eligible to take state board because she had a baby in high school. She graduated Friday, had a baby Saturday, went back and finished her state board hours, passed one portion of the test, and went back 6 times and couldn't pass the other portion and ran out of time. Damn. So I'm watching myself grow up again. So I'm getting the reflection of what you just asked. What is the one moment in time? I'm actually seeing it unfold in my own household in a way that I never expected to. Gotcha. So I'm watching myself grow up again. And my daughter, who chose motherhood at 17 very consciously, she also went to the cosmetology program. And this will be probably the one regret she has is that she didn't obtain this license, because honestly, I just thought I'd be a business owner, a great parent. I'd have a family and things would be great. And I would give my children what I didn't experience. And unfortunately, that reflective moment now, obviously I'm who I am because I didn't go that route, right? But that's the one moment in time I wish I could have just looked at myself and said, just go back. Just do it. You have 2 years. And I just gave up on myself because I didn't have people around me to build me up in the right way, honestly. And my aunt kind of at this time, she was living in another city. She was working in the prison system, which is a whole nother thing. My mom's been in the prison system. She just retired after 41 years at MDOC. So I've saw that side, right? My stepdad and my aunt also were corrections officers when I was growing up. So I have a lot of knowledge about the inside of the malls too. So there's a lot of things that got me here, but nonetheless, everything that I've talked about transcended me into 14 years of alcoholism before I chose sobriety.
Gotcha. Well, congrats about that.
Thank you.
Before Katie asks, we bounce back and forth. But my favorite question: what was your favorite cereal?
Bruh.
My favorite cereal as a kid was Frosted Flakes. My favorite cereal right now, which I don't eat because I can't do dairy too much. But if I go pull bar cereal, it's going to be Raisin Bran Crunch.
Right on.
2 scoops.
Yeah.
Double raisin.
The extra crunch, the crunch.
With the little granola.
It's top tier. It's top tier. It's my favorite cereal. I just love it. That's like, I feel old when I say that, because remember when we was young, you'd be like, ooh, they eat that old cardboard ass cereal. You know what I'm saying?
I like Frosted Mini Wheats with the strawberry.
Oh, I still love them.
So
Frosted Mini Wheats bust still to this day. I just can't eat. Like cereal for, I'll be honest, for about 3 years of my marriage, me and my ex-husband, every single night before we went to bed, 8 bowls of cereal. We kept cereal in my house. I cannot tolerate, I can't do dairy anymore.
No.
So, but if I could, I would bust down some Raisin Bran Crunch real fast.
Can you do like any at all? Like, can you do yogurt?
So somewhat to a certain degree. It's not necessarily that I have a dairy issue. It's just milk, one, is a trigger. I can eat cheese and it doesn't bother me. I've recently found out I can't eat deli meat at all. So there's these weird, I guess, antibodies that my body has now I've been eating ham sandwiches since 82, right?
Yeah.
My body doesn't like it at all anymore. So I can't eat processed meats, pepperonis, none of these weird things. Like I can't do
That's
it.
a good thing.
It is, it's a great thing. It's the
good,
number one
yeah.
cancer causer
Yeah.
that people don't know
Yeah.
No,
exists.
they just found that out actually.
Yeah.
that It's
Well,
higher
yeah,
up there than
just
lobster.
found it out.
They're
yeah.
just letting us
No,
find out.
Yeah. That's
Absolutely, yeah. So I don't mind the allergy to it. It's truly some sort of allergy that's happening, but that's a childhood trigger food that to me takes me back to those moments of peace on the front porch, swinging on our front porch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the moments of silence.
Yeah.
So like a ham sandwich with some Doritos and a Twinkie.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a straight 80s lunch that
Yeah.
we had. You know what I mean? With a bowl of ravioli on the side.
Bologna's with Doritos.
Man, ain't even lying. Tuck them Doritos up inside the
Uh-huh.
Twinkie, honey. Bite that end off and shove the moist in there. Best snack you ever had.
Before we get into like school years and then getting to where you are now, what
Mhm.
was your favorite childhood memory? Favorite part of childhood?
Oh God. So I'll be honest, I was a reckless kid. I was a tomboy at heart. So one of my best friends to this day, Stacy Rokita, her big brothers, Gary and Steve, lived across the street from us, and they were BMXers back in the day, and they had a half pipe in their backyard. And so as a little girl, the big brother, Steve, I had a crush on him. I was like, we're talking 6, 7 years old, so a little bitty kid. And so I used to go outside and ride the bikes with the boys and have a scooter and ride. And I actually learned how to do kick flips and all the things.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite core memories as a kid is I learned how to, I got a dope ass bike because our parents spoiled us. I had a dope bike that had the pegs on it, you know what I'm saying? It was a mongoose, it was fire.
Yeah.
And I was only about 7 years old, honestly. I was a little kid, but I could stand up and what they call it, I can't even remember what they call it, where you stand up next to the seat and just stand up and ride that.
Yeah.
Almost like ghost whipping a bike, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so we're talking probably 80, 85, 86. I was doing that down, if you know the east side of Allen Road. I
Yeah.
grew up on Allen Road. I could ghost ride my bike from one end to the other at about 7 years old. They wanted to put me in competitions back then, honestly. So it's a true core memory. I was dope as a kid. I could do that. So that's one thing that, like, when we talk about it, when we get in rooms and her brothers are around, they're like, man, you were cold as a little girl. Like, we wish we could have stayed, but you know, with my parents' divorce and life shifts, right?
Yep.
So that's a true core memory. I had a blast when I was a kid. I was a true tomboy in the streets. I loved it. I loved it.
Always on the reverse side of things. What was your least favorite childhood memory? What's the thing you hate? What's your least favorite?
The trauma.
Yeah.
Just the trauma. It was it wasn't how do I want to put this? When it was good, and when it was bad, right?
Yeah.
Again, my parents did their best to shield us from what they knew was wrong, by giving us everything that we wanted. And so I write poetry, I journal. I've written for a long time. I've actually decided maybe I'll write a book. I don't know, one day, but I've started to turn my poetry into AI music because I love to write poetry. I'm not the one to perform the poetry, even though Friday night, thanks to Nicoya and Sarah, I did get up and perform 2 of my pieces at the 517 event. It's just one of those things where even though we went through these things as kids, right? It wasn't all bad, but it's the parts that stick.
Yep.
Right. So there was one time, probably one of the worst times, honestly, right before my mom left my dad. We had a pool in the backyard. I mean, we had a pool table and a finished basement with a game room. When I tell you we had name brand and everything, I mean, I wore Reeboks as a little kid all the way up to Guess, Jabot, every 90s brand, Skids. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we wore, I wore all that, and I wore all that from the shoes. When I was 13, I got the Fila's with the straps. They were brand new. You know what I'm saying? The changeable straps. So, I mean, they did our best to provide us things to show us that they loved and cared about us, right? I understand things now that I didn't then, obviously, but one memory that just was probably the most traumatizing for me because I can still right now, the house is demolished and it was demoed some years ago. I pulled up on the street and didn't realize our house had been demoed, right? But I can envision the house. The front porch was enclosed, right? And there was a window up in the top right closest to the driveway. Also, my dad built a 2.5 car garage on that property with his own 2 hands, and our hands were in the cement. So, like, again, they really tried to solidify something for us that they thought would be everlasting if they could have got it together.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and dad got into a fight really bad, and my dad put us all out the house. Mm-hmm. Me, my mom, my sister, my brother. And it was about 1:30 in the morning, and then he took her purse and the car keys from her and told her, I don't give a fuck what happens to y'all. Mm-hmm. Figure it out. And get shit up in here. Mm-hmm. And he locked us out. And so my mom, bless her heart, and hopefully I don't cry, she grabbed our hands and she took us from Allen Road. And we walked from 909 Allen Road to 606 Oak Hill Drive, which my grandma's house just sold. That house has been in my family since I've been alive. She walked us there, and we had to pound on my great grandma's window to be in a safe space for the night. Yeah. And the fear of walking in the middle of the night with your mom after she's been bloody. He slammed her head into the, she ended up having to get staples in her head. So she was bloody pretty bad. But you didn't have cell phones back then, right? He wouldn't let us get in the house to use the phone. For some reason, I feel like the core memory tells me the neighbors were on vacation, the ones that we really entrusted, right? People outside of our house and outside of that block didn't really know what we were experiencing. School never knew. My closest friends didn't know until we were teenagers, and I could really express myself, right? So that was a memory that, like, damn, like, why did we have to go through that? Yeah. Why did our dad put us through that, right? So I think that was a moment in time that kind of planted the seed of worthlessness in me, and I lived with it for many years, and probably my sister and brother did too, and maybe still do.
Gotcha.
So
this is what I love about what we do, because there will be somebody that watches or somebody listening that A, went through it or is going through it and you're helping them. But B, there's some stuff people will never know about you until you tell them. And I think people will respect you a little more, because I already do. I mean, really, that's hard. That's hard. So I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Did you have a normal school in terms of proms, sports, that type of thing? Did you do a normal school?
So I grew up, I really didn't go to many schools. I started at Allen Elementary, which I hope they do something with that in Jackson. But my kindergarten teacher was Mrs. Wade. I'll never forget her. She was a gorgeous Black woman with an afro and glasses. She was super dope as a teacher when I was a kid. Awesome. Ironically, I got married later in life and became Mrs. Wade. So that's weird, but and then I only did 1 year at Allen, and I went to Northeast, so I was very in a diversified school, right? Gotcha. Growing up in the 80s on the east side, I was in a very diversified school. I had everybody around me, right? So I always grew up around people that looked like everything and everybody, right? So my schooling was dope as an elementary school. We had great times at Northeast Elementary. You know what I mean? I have some of my core memories come directly inside the school walls because, again, safe space. As I got to middle school, I played sports. I loved softball. As a little girl, we can run down. I did baton throwing. I did gymnastics. I did soccer for many years.
See, you pegged me as a soccer player.
I love soccer.
I was a goalie, and I'm like, whatever, foot fair is what they called me. But I was like, fuck you guys. But no, you seem like you played soccer.
Oh, yeah. My legs are real strong even to this day. I played softball. I absolutely love softball. We had a team called the Fry Girls, the Rec. It was me and all my best friends. We had a whole chant. We were dope, but my parents never showed up, right? So I got discouraged along the way. And if you're not going to show up, support me, why am I going to do this? Which, again, the alcoholism was already happening at this point behind the scenes. My parents had no idea. But I loved sports when I was growing up, but I just didn't have the support, honestly. So it kind of fell to the wayside as
makes it hard.
You just don't have no one showing up. You kind of look in the stands and it's like, what am I actually here for? Yeah. And at that time, you don't understand how to believe in yourself if you don't have people teaching you to believe in yourself. So it was kind of like, I like it, but nobody's here watching me. So why am I doing it? Like, I can't see myself doing it. We didn't know cell phones back then. You had a big ass VHS tape if you wanted to record some shit. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like it is now. So, I love sports actually growing up. I love football to this day. Go Green.
Awesome.
I got a Michigan State tattoo right here because, ST.
Get out of here, both of you.
Yeah. Clock it.
You gonna
No.
Yeah.
He goes like this.
Yeah, we're making fun of it. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
He like, yeah,
Clock
clock
it.
this. Okay. Yeah, no, that's right. He said I can clock it back. Yeah.
Man, that's it's not funny, but people that have rough childhoods, rough upbringing, you guys are the most supportive types of people.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, that's I believe in God. I don't put it on anybody, but everything happens for a reason.
Mhm.
You guys are here to support others, so that's
Absolutely.
incredible. That's incredible.
Absolutely.
Did
Appreciate
you
it.
graduate?
I did.
Awesome.
Absolutely. June
Hell
6th,
yeah.
1996. I sure did. I walked that stage and got my diploma 5 months pregnant. And
Hell
they looked
yeah.
back. Sure
Awesome.
did. Absolutely.
Fucking hey.
What was your first job?
My first job was McDonald's on East Michigan Ave. Joyce Signer was my boss. She was the dopest boss in the industry. She did not play with us. My best friend Jess Campbell to this day, we worked there, honey. Joyce used to crack that whip. She didn't play about her food, her presentation, that order. When I tell you I learned how to work at that job, she put us to work at 15 years old and she didn't play about that. So that was my first job at McDonald's. And then our cool ass boss, Jason Hatt, left us and went to Fazoli's when they opened. So my second job was Fazoli's.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know it's different. So for women as it is for men, how did alcoholism turn worse to where you wanted to change it for you? Like what was the tipping point? Like, fuck, I can't do this no more.
Oh God, we got to fast forward a lot of years, but to get there, the tipping point for me was meeting my ex-husband, which we're skipping a lot of years, but I'll give you the answer.
Okay.
At 28 years old, I met my ex-husband 2 years after I left my child's father, who I had dealt with since I was 16. I met him December 27th, 2007, my ex-husband. March of 2008, we went to a male review at Ludwig's. We went and watched the strippers. We had a blast.
Oh my God, Ludwig.
I got, yes, Club Ludwig. I got hammered. And this was a pretty regular 2006, 2007. This is the 2 years I spent away from my child's father. We had been in and out of a relationship for 12 years. So there was years I wasn't with him, but 2006, January, I left him. At the very end of 2007, I met my ex-husband. So 24 solid months of partying.
Yeah.
Every time my kids were gone, I was out, right? So I go to Ludwig's. I had met my ex-husband. I go to Ludwig's. I get hammered. We all meet back at my best friend's house over in the Chalet Terrace on Laurel Lane. And I didn't make it out of the bathroom that night. This is a man I had only known for 3 months. We really liked each other, right? He wasn't necessarily a drinker. He smoked, but he didn't really drink. And honestly, I was embarrassed as fuck. I truly, the next day, he was like, yo, like, you might want to check into something. Like, you got a problem for real. And from that day forward, I never drank again until October of 2016 when I divorced my ex-husband. So, and I had a divorce party. Here's where you realize things are not healed, right? So I came back out October 6, 2016. My divorce was final. I had a divorce party because that's the thing you celebrate when you find yourself again, right?
Hell yeah.
So we go to Lansing, and I decided that the same amount of alcohol I drank 8.5 years ago was the intake I decided to have. And let's just say you don't come out doing what you did 8 years ago.
No.
Very quickly, I realized that if I continued from that day, I was going to find myself back into
That's where
alcoholism.
you were, yeah.
So I have very comfortably and confidently chose that I drink when I want. I drink how much I want when I want. It's always a planned event. If I know I'm going to get drunker than I normally would, but I don't really drink anymore at all.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like how I feel. I don't like, really, most of it doesn't taste good, honestly. So we have backyard parties and I, indulge sometimes, but the alcoholism is overcome for me and I know how to live in this lane and I don't want it like that anymore. I don't thrive on it, honestly.
See, I work in the recovery field, and I'm saying that to line up this. I believe there's a place for substances in everybody's life. And I know that's a take that a lot of people don't agree with, but just because you're an alcoholic doesn't mean that you can't smoke a joint and not be an addict. Just because you're a Coke addict doesn't mean that you can't drink a beer. So, I mean, I believe substances are, God wouldn't have made them or whatever. We wouldn't have made them if they weren't meant for people.
I completely agree. My my thought process on some of this is, had it not been for marijuana at that time, I probably wouldn't have stopped drinking. Right. I never was a marijuana user up until I was 21 years old. I never even hit a joint, a piece of weed. I also grew up in a household that they smoked, right?
Yeah.
But my mentality at the time was weed was illegal, alcohol wasn't.
Fair. I mean,
Okay, so
yeah.
I wasn't dabbing in illegal stuff. I grew up with the police at my door. I didn't want that for myself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I chose the legal route, which was alcoholism, and also the worst route.
Yep.
Because if we're going to categorize things, let's keep it 100, right? I would tell anybody today that if you're going to choose a substance between the one or the two, you better pick up the flower
Yeah,
and do what you do
straight
with
up.
it, right?
Yep.
And so at 21, I tried weed for the first time with my baby daddy. He was going through some drama with one of the females that he was with, and he came to Lansing and we smoked and watched Chris Rock's Bring the Pain, and I laughed harder than I had ever laughed in life, and it was a one and done for me, and I didn't smoke again really until I was about 28 years old. So, yeah.
Katie? I know sometimes I talk too much and I try. I'm sorry.
They call me the
I also
certified
got-
yapper.
I also got to backtrack though, because we just covered.
No,
it
I
all
know.
down.
I
Yeah, you
got
skipped
that
around.
problem.
So we kind of went from 15 up to 28, so there's some timing in there. But
Okay, so your second job was Fazoli's.
Mhm.
It ain't anything.
Yeah.
hey,
How
at
did-
least you have someone else to blame.
Yeah.
Oh, when I do that, it's just me. Then I'm like,
Looking in
shit,
the
dog.
mirror, yeah.
What are you doing? You talk too much. Ah.
No, it's just the ooh squirrel thing,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Okay, so how did you navigate early on with your alcoholism and being a new mom and working, and like how did you navigate those things before like you started? Because you said it was later on that you realized it was a problem.
I had
so-
all three of my kids before I chose sobriety. To sum it up, so so after I left Fazoli's, let's see, I'm going to run through really quick. I've had some dope ass jobs. I've been in some dope spaces in life. So after Fazoli's, I worked at Consumers Energy in the mailroom up in Lansing. After me and my kid's father split the first time, so that was one of my first professional jobs. From there, I worked at the state of Michigan Treasury Department. I did that for 4 years. After I left the state of Michigan Treasury Department, I worked for First American Title and was in the mortgage industry for 5 years.
Awesome.
I became a traveling title agent. I dealt with millions of dollars. I signed over titles on thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars of properties. And I traveled all over southeastern Michigan and even the Detroit area, quite a bit, Flint, doing that for many years. During all this time, as far as the alcoholism side part of it and my children are concerned, my sister at the time, she was married. She had 2 kids with her first husband. She got divorced at 19, remarried at 21, had 2 daughters with her second husband. During that time, we both had daughters at the same time. So we both had daughters in 2000. She had one in January, I had one in March.
Damn.
And then we both turned around and had kids again. I had one in 2005. She had one in 2006, right? So our daughters are the same age. She also chose to stay home and be a stay-at-home mom and have a daycare center. Okay, so I had
Good for her.
built-in daycare. At the time I was on state assistance, so I had as much daycare coverage as I needed, right? Which this allowed me to go work in some great spaces. My sister played a major role in raising my daughters when they were very little. And so the balancing of work, she played a major role in being there during the day with my kids when I was working. My alcoholism was very socially weekend driven. So I always had control over the alcoholism, which sounds weird to say out loud, but I always had control over it, right? So I knew I was alcoholic, but I always felt in control, which I know we all do, but I didn't drink other than when I chose to drink. But when I drank, I got hammered.
So you're a binge drinker.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm a very social binge drinker. So I wasn't every day,
Gotcha,
you know,
yeah.
but when the kids left on Thursday or Friday, you best believe I was not going to be sober till Sunday night.
Quick interjection. When people say an alcoholic's an alcoholic, I disagree
Mhm.
because there are different levels to
Absolutely.
it. Like there is.
There is absolutely.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. No,
that's all
absolutely.
wanted to throw in
I
there.
absolutely agree.
Yeah.
In that time, right, in it, you obviously in any substance, right, I understand substance too, even though I've never really worked in it. You can have control over any substance you use to a certain level.
Yeah.
Meaning, obviously, some of the drugs that are available now can kill you the first time you use it, right? So I'm not talking that extreme, but what I'm saying is we can choose to to educate ourselves enough to understand that we can enjoy these substances in a way that doesn't consume our life.
Mhm.
And we know how to use these in safe spaces, right? And I don't say that to encourage anyone to go utilize a substance that they don't need.
Mhm.
I say that to say, and now that I've retired, I'll say it out loud. I have probably worked since I was 28. I'm 48. We're talking 20 years of my life. I've been a very high functioning marijuana user,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
I smoke every day. Part of it is to regulate some of the things that I still process and deal with, because as I explained to somebody yesterday, part of mental health, and I think part of a miss when we talk about mental health is many people that are trying to get to a place of feeling like, man, I'm healed, right? Healed is never achieved. And I don't think people understand that healed should never be the goal that you're striving for. And so to understand that we are always in healing and we never achieve healed changes the way you look at mental health for yourself, meaning I don't have a perfection level I'm trying to reach. And so now I can understand and navigate this differently. And so that's been part of, like, I've always been smart enough to understand what I was doing to myself. I also didn't have the care and concern or self-worth to understand how to fix it. So.
Ball's in your court unless you want to give it back.
Oh. Okay, so we went up to your divorce, right? Your divorce party. How were things for you after your divorce party?
So to give you a quick brief overall of the marriage, to understand kind of what transcended me to leave that, you kind of have to understand what happened there. So when I left my kid's father, one of the things that he told me was, no one will ever want you. You're a single mom with 3 kids, right? I was 28 years old. My baby daughter was 21 this year. She was 5 months old at the time. And so that in itself really transcended me into a relationship with somebody who wasn't good for me, right? Because the first person I met that was willing to go all in on me and my kids was the person I leached onto. And so when I met him, he had just come out of a bad marriage. He had also did 6.5 years in the penitentiary and hadn't really had time to heal from that before he married his first wife. And so when I met him, he was not in a great place, but very open to it. I didn't know all this obviously initially, but to get to the gist of this, because I talk a lot and I could draw this out really for a really long time. So anyway, we met December 27th, 2007. We married June 27th of 2009. So 18 months to the day we met. We got married. Very quickly after I was married to him, I got baptized September 13th, 2008. So prior to being married, I was baptized in his family's church. Fully, willfully baptized, right? About 2.5 to 3 years into the marriage, I realized that things were not necessarily what I hoped for them to be, right? He never worked. He always used his felony as a reason that he couldn't get the job, and reflection is it was very manipulative and narcissistic. But nonetheless, I carried the weight for 8.5 years of that marriage. He didn't really work much. In those times, he would take, little jobs here and there. Long story short, I put him through truck driving school because the only way to get away from him was to get him self-sustainable, right? Yeah. So we worked together to get him through truck driving school. He graduated, got a job August 15th of 2015. June 24th of 2016, I decided it was a wrap and we moved away from each other. But part of that was me understanding that in order to separate myself safely from a narcissistic, manipulative person, right, I had to set him up for success in the ability to have self-worth, which is what he lacked and the reason why our marriage didn't work. Had nothing to do with me, honestly. And so for that reason, I wanted him educated and self-sustainable, because if he wasn't that way, I wasn't going to have a safe escape. And so by the time all of this transcended, he was in a pretty good place as far as, like, he had his own money, right? I never asked him still for anything. He had bought a car, he had bought a motorcycle, and he was pretty self-sustainable at that time. He was traveling on the road as a truck driver. So we chose divorce at that point. And so once the divorce party happened, right, I was like, man, freedom. But the day he moved out is pivotal to the way things lined up for me. The day he moved out, I picked up my phone and looked at it, and I didn't have any friends in my phone. I also didn't have social media because I wasn't allowed to have social media. And when I say I wasn't allowed, I do mean that. It was not acceptable to him for me to have social media, even though he did. So when MySpace got deleted in around March, April of 2008, I never had social media until July of 2016. So when he moved out in June of 2016, I didn't have a friend, a family, a mama, a daddy, or anybody I could call on because he had basically isolated me in those 8.5 years away from everybody that I knew. We were very close to the church. I was very into the church. I was a choir director. I used to do testimony service. I was truly in the heart of everything that encapsulated the church and the message and all the things. Unfortunately, the same church is the reason I don't go to church right now, and I'll never attend another church because I've found what I really truly feel is for me outside of the walls of church, which isn't to say anything other than to say I don't believe in a one all-seeing, omniscient God, but I do believe there's more to this world than this because I've been proven and shown differently. So life since divorce has been, it was initially scary. 5 years of this 10, I didn't know what the hell to really think about myself. I took a leap of faith and left my job in Sam's Club. So Sam's Club, I went to work in 2007. Through my whole marriage, I worked at Sam's Club. It was the only people that knew what it was actually happening in my life, right? In 2018, March, I left Sam's Club after 10.5 years. I chose myself. My job had also been taken by ATM machine, weirdly as hell. And so I jumped out on faith, 2018. This is 2 years post-divorce. I decided to go into the life insurance industry. Another redemption story. It took me 6 times to pass the life insurance state board test. I almost didn't, but I remembered that moment I regret. And so I went back until I finished. I did life insurance all through that summer. My engine of my car blew up, which eventually led to homelessness for me and my children. So 2018, I experienced homelessness. We were put out of our house pretty quickly, which led me to a 4-month trash landlord. We lived there for 4 months, and in the middle of ice storm, February 14th, actually Valentine's Day of 2019, me and my 17-year-old daughter at the time packed up U-Haul in an ice storm, and I moved to a house that I stayed in for 7 years. And so that took us all the way up until last September.
Awesome.
So yeah, life leading up to that, after the homelessness and the job situation, I started at Flagstar Bank that year. So September 18th, which is also ironically my grandson's birthday, he was born 2020. I started there in 2018. I retired from there May 1st of this year. So I was at Flagstar almost 8 years.
I would love to do this again because there's no way we could fit all this in our show. Talk about a fucking redemption story and a story. Incredible. We'll have to do a part 2. Were you always this strong? Because you radiate like boss bitch mentality like her. So like you radiate like you're a strong woman. Was that distilled from childhood, or was that through trial and error, through marriages and growing up this way?
So I'll be honest, I've always been bold. Again, I've always been voicey. Hence the reason they call me a certified yapper. Literally, my grandma, when I was a kid, she used to say, "Girl, you talk so damn much. I hope someday you get paid to do it because you tell everything." So I've always been voicey. Weirdly, I never would speak in front of people. Right. So in high school, that assignment would come and that day would come and I was sick. Because I'm not coming. I found my voice in church, doing testimony service because everyone was looking at the pastor. They wasn't looking at me. Right. So I could stand up comfortably and say what was on my heart, say where, express myself, and nobody was looking at me. So I really found my loud voice in church and testimony service, honestly. But even still, I was semi-quiet really through my marriage. I very much so stood up for myself, right? So I didn't let him bully me. There was never physical.
Good.
It was never physical. It was all emotional, mental. Post-divorce, fast forward to 2020, advocacy, where I really found my voice was when some trash happened in Jackson. I had to step out and use my white privilege that I have and decide that I have to stand up for something that was right. And I stepped into advocacy work, and honestly, 2020 transcended my voice to be where it is today.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, I was going to bring up, I seen that you retired and you're part of the Jackson Strength Network and
Absolutely.
everything else you're doing.
shout out to them.
I'm so happy for you. That's awesome.
There's some dope stuff coming. But yes, I am I am now the director of advertising, marketing, and community outreach for Jackson Strength Network. I am also on the board of a coalition nonprofit network that is getting ready to become big in Jackson.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is our favorite part. This is our favorite part.
What are the most urgent needs you see in the community of Jackson today as the director of outreach and advertising?
We need to get to the youth. There's messages that we need to be delivering. There is programs that need to be in place. There's community centers that we need to have. We need to be upbeat, on time, ahead of technology. So the big gap right now is to understand and know that my 5-year-old grandson is in a school getting bullied right now. Does something to your spirit, right? My goal right now is to get to a place of sustainability that I can pull my grandkids out of the public school system. This could go for a whole long thing, but I'll say it very quick to say, I don't want my grandchildren programmed. I don't want them through the system. I don't want them, I don't want their imaginations taken from them. And very quickly in 1 year of school, I've watched my grandson go from the most creative, free-spirited child to somebody who's very self-conscious, and I don't like that. So where's the gap? More Than a Pretty Face really stands for we are more than what we see. We need to encourage these children from a very young age that to be empowered, to stand up for themselves, to stand up for bullies, to stand up for the people around them. And there's a real huge gap to the point that we have schools rejecting grants for bullying work. And that to me, and if you're a school out here listening, on behalf of More Than a Pretty Face, because this is my opinion, it has nothing to do with where I'm sitting. You're trash as a school if you rejected that grant, and you know who you are, and we're coming for you. Because the last thing I'm going to allow in this city that I was born and raised in and been and will be here is these children to grow up feeling like that's what they have to live through. And so it's really about empowering and getting to these kids before the streets get to them and providing them opportunities to really gain a sense of self-worth when they're not getting it where they're at, because I know what that is and I know what it looks like.
Well, in that context, we agree with you. So
absolutely.
Straight up.
Appreciate it.
What is your ultimate long-term vision for the economic and cultural growth of Jackson?
Again, kind of goes back to what I just talked about. There's so many people that have transcended my decision to retire and come into this community full speed ahead. There's many things that play the role in this. I've networked and been around and been in spaces with some of the smartest people I've ever met, and they're right here in the city of Jackson. And I've been all over the country, right? I've networked with people that you would never believe you could be in spaces with because they make you almost feel like you're not allowed in these spaces. One thing that I've learned is that you don't ask permission, you just go. And so the gaps that need filled in are being filled right now. Right. We have residents in action who, when this community center comes together and the things that they're trying to do to establish these type of resources where children can have safe spaces to go that are upbeat, new, right? Not only is this going to allow families to give their kids a place to go and they can get a break, right? It's going to teach them and give them the confidence. And we're going to give them AI skills and the things that really they need, financial literacy as young adults, right? The things that the schools are not providing our kids because they don't want them to have these resources because we can outsmart them with those.
Whatever happened to junior achievement?
Right. It's still around.
Is it?
It's still around. You just don't hear about it anymore.
Okay.
But it is still existing.
I was curious because I really...
Financial literacy should be something in every school system across America from elementary school on. And they don't teach us at all, which is why right now today, I will proudly sit here and say, weirdly, my credit score is 380. I filed bankruptcy twice on over $500,000 total in debt in my life. And I don't give two fucks about my credit. You want to know why? Because outside of the United States, it absolutely means nothing. And so I don't care what you look at that number and feel and think, because in reality, I've worked my ass off and I gained every bit of that $500,000 worth of assets that I decided to give back, and I could have kept them, just didn't want them anymore.
Yeah.
And sometimes if I knew better, I would have did better, right?
Yeah.
And so we got to fill the gaps in decision making. I watched my mom also file bankruptcy, which is why I was so comfortable to say, fuck this credit, fuck this house and these cars, take them back. I don't care.
Yeah.
Discharge it.
Yeah.
Right. And so we need to ensure that our children understand life is sustainable outside of this robotic situation that they're trying to put us in, and we've all been in. And honestly, my goal is to provide a space of learning that doesn't involve the public school system structure.
With your position, I reached out to Justin, but I just want to reiterate to you, June 26th, this upcoming month, we are doing Recovery Is at the Commonwealth Building. And we asked a couple people to bring resource tables. Just, you know, it's a 2-hour, 6-person panel. There'll be a bunch of people there. We would love you guys to come set up a resource table.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I'll try to make it happen. I don't know what's going on that day because we just talked about June 26th at our meeting today, but I don't know what we decided about that.
Yes, the youth. Oh, I'm sorry. Stephen Lee. Actually, we just interviewed him. He works for. It's a house right next to the shelter that helped My Place. Jesus Christ. So he works for My Place, which is literally troubled youth that gets out of CPS and then they're going to become homeless. They have a house that houses them. It's almost like transitional housing, but
it's almost like Serenity Sober Living.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
For young kids.
So yes, the youth in Jackson are so important. These really should be more consistent life skill workshops and classes for youth. So I mean,
absolutely,
pretty much agree.
So you guys will be the first to hear it, and I'm not going to tell too much, but I'm launching a business this Friday in Jackson. The goal to launch this this Friday, the goal to launch now and put this in motion is to employ teenagers this summer. So I'm already trying to put a business model in place that's a niche market that's needed in Jackson. The reason I know is because I've needed the service, and that's the reason I'm doing it.
Gotcha.
And so I hope to employ some teenagers already this summer.
Awesome.
And so there's some dope things happening. Absolutely.
And if you ever need, we do Servant Hearts LLC, so we do a lot of clean outs and stuff for realtors. So if anything we could do to help or collab or anything.
Did you guys clean out my grandma's house on Oak Hill?
Probably, honestly.
It's a big yellow house on a hill. I'm trying to figure out who cleaned that house out. There was, when I tell you there was history in that house.
Yeah.
It's been in our family since the early 1900s.
Yeah, see, so we save everything that's nice, donate it, sell some of it at a yard sale. Mostly I give it away because St. Vincent's, even if it's St. Vincent's, they still up the price.
Her house
was
full of, I went over there and got what I could, but
Gotcha.
I found World War II original newspaper in her house. Yeah, so.
Man.
Anyway.
So sorry, go ahead. I apologize. Oh, well, my one question, you said what more than a pretty face means. When did you start it and why?
So I'll be honest, I wish I had the necklace on right now. So again, going back to growing up as a little girl, I'm naturally blonde hair, believe it or not. I was a towhead as a baby. I had white hair, white eyebrows, the whole everything. I was very blonde boy. As a little girl, one thing that was very certain, two things for sure, is I was always told I was cute. I was always told I was pretty, right? This went on all the way through till right now today. All I ever wanted to be seen for is who I was, not what I looked like, honestly. I just wanted people to see me. I wanted you to see me. I never felt seen as a little girl. And so More Than a Pretty Face was really probably about 4 years ago. I just was in my head like, man, you're more than a pretty face. You know what I mean? So in my early stages of trying to figure out how the hell you graphic design or make anything, right? I got on Canva and I designed a logo, my original logo I still use to this day. It's just a silhouette outline of a woman's face from a side profile. The hair is more than a pretty face. It's got a brain in the middle because I'm smart as fuck. And the only thing I was intending to do with this was a self moment in time where you're like, you see yourself, right? Yeah. So I got on a company called Pendentify. It's out of New York, I believe. And I ordered the charm of this necklace. And on the back of the charm, I had them engraved, you did it.
Awesome.
And so to get to quickly how some of this branding became not right now, sir. I was invited to be a guest on a podcast after I did a vendor show at Justin Count's house on 4th Street. That he had artists perform, local artists perform, TWIce.
No kidding.
Tainted Smooth. I don't know if you know who that is, but there were several artists there that day. And after the vendor event, one of the artists, Tainted Smooth, came to me and said, "Yo, like, can you come be a guest on my podcast?
Okay.
Like, you're dope." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, like, what you talking about?" Like, I was not in the podcasting realm of even watching podcasting at the time. And his podcast, shout out to What You Sippin' On, August of 2023, I went and was a guest on his podcast, right? At the end of that episode, everyone was like, "Yo, are you like the new co-host of this show?"
Okay.
And I'm like, "No." And so we got off air and he was like, "Yo, like, do you want to be the co-host of the show?" So very quickly, we just were live streaming from my house on Facebook. That was August. Fast forward to January, there was some morality situations that happened with him as a person that I just had to kind of say, not this brand, right? Not me as a person. Also, What You Sippin' On very much so looked like an alcoholic type of podcast, which we made sure to say this is not it just the symbols were solo cups, What You Sippin' On, right? But we very much so still talked about advocacy and all the things, right?
Gotcha. Names matter.
I didn't want to walk away from podcasting because the people that were there watching us every single Thursday at 7:00 didn't want me to leave, but I didn't know what to do. I was like, well, shit, now what? Like Saturday, Thursday we went live. Saturday I got the information. Sunday I confronted the information to make sure what I was hearing wasn't hearsay. Tuesday I said, shit, Thursday's almost here. Now what? What am I going to do? Who do I know? Who do I know? Who do I know? I called, shout out to Becky Stiles over at Catch My Vibe Radio. I messaged her, "Yo, I know you print decals for people. I know you do the DTF. If I send you this file, can you print my logo? I have to go live on Thursday." She printed the decal. I went to Walmart. I bought a backdrop. I slapped the thing on a fucking backdrop and I went live. And I did that from January till about March. And I was invited to CMV Radio to work alongside them and they would film my podcast. So that happened up until August of last year. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we've gotten close with a lot of those people. Like I'm in Akeem's paper a lot. Me and him run into each other. So we've known a lot of the same. You've known them a lot longer, but we know a lot of the same people now. So,
absolutely.
And it's what 7 degrees of knowing people, 6 degrees of knowing people. It's like one person. Fuck, I mean they might be the president. If you could meet anybody in history, one person from all of history, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Oh shit, Michael Jackson all day.
Okay.
Is there an explanation?
You altered it.
I know.
It was to me to have dinner with a person,
Yeah,
any person in history. You have dinner with them, and then I always say, "What would you get for dinner?" Also,
And what you
Okay, so that changes the answer.
Okay.
Absolutely changes the answer. My papa, he died in 1988. Bless his soul. My dad's the biological father, J.C. Whitaker. Man, I wish I could know that man now.
Awesome.
He in the creeks of Kentucky and the mountains. He used to tell me he would knock me out with a green 2x4. Now, Lord Jesus, Grandpa to give me a sign. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. But it's something that's always stuck with me. And weirdly, even looking at these 2x4s right here, maybe it's a sign. I don't know. I never got to know him as an adult. Same thing with my mom, stepdad, my grandfather, my grandpa Snow that I grew up with. I was 10 when they passed, so I didn't get to know them, and they didn't get to see me in this capacity, even though I know they do now. So yeah, my grandpa's. I didn't have grandpas growing up. I had a great grandpa, but he was old as hell. He wasn't that grandpa that got on the floor with you. He attended everything, but he sat in his seat with his shoe, and he didn't see.
He was old as hell.
He was old as hell. He was. That was great granddaddy. You know what I mean? So yeah, my grandfather. Obvious. Yeah, that's an obvious answer. To have dinner with him and just say, "Tell me some more.
Yeah.
Tell me what I don't know about my dad." My grandfather had 10 siblings. I never met any of them. I have family in Leslie, Michigan right now I've never met. Our family history is a whole nother 3-hour episode, but
I feel that.
Yeah.
What's for dinner?
You know what you having?
Oh shit, fried chicken and mashed potatoes and corn
All right.
all day.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Man, All of our wrap-up questions are the same for every guest. But right now is the biggest one. Is there anything I missed? Is there anything when I invited you on, you said, that's what I want to talk about, and we didn't get to it? Or even if you just want to plug yourself in, just whatever, now's the time.
I'll just be honest. What I'll say before you get to the wrap-up questions, because I know how I end my show too. What I will say, what's on my heart right now to say to everybody, and this is a message I continually deliver on more than a pretty face. Find something you love to do and find a way to make money doing it. It's the only way to be happy in life. I taught this to my daughters from the day I understood the message. I have a 30-year-old daughter almost this year. She is the owner of she works inside, Art 634. Her shop is called All Saints Day Tattoo. She's a transgender biracial woman in Jackson, Michigan. I'm born and raised here. She's one of the dopest people I've ever met in my life. She's more comfortable and confident than most people that are cis-born and live in their cis life, right? At 2 years old, I knew this child was special. And at 5 years old, when she could color in the lines and she could write words and she could do all the things that she did, she was a skateboarder growing up. She was reckless as hell. She was a daredevil. But one thing she never put down was that pen and paper, right? And at 16 years old, I put a tattoo machine in her hand and said, go kill it. Do what you love to do and find a way to make money doing it, right? And she's a successful business owner. My middle daughter is my nail tech.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Clock it. Shout out to my daughter, Shaman. She graduated high school and went right into being a nail tech. So shout out to her and her boss, Jessica Ames, out at Beauty Factor.
Girl, she does my nails.
Shay?
Yeah.
Clock it. That's my daughter. And then my baby girl does my hair. So again, the message is always going to be, if you truly stick to what you love to do and find a way to make money doing it, you'll always be happy in life, which is why May 1st, going into my birthday month, which is my birthday's May 31st, for 48 years of life on this planet, I have struggled. I have went through the trenches. I have worked every kind of job. I have hustled. I have been a side hustler. I DoorDashed for 4 years. I've done pure romance. I've opened businesses. I've done all the things. Right. What I've never done is decided, my daughter, shout out to Lana Kane, owner of All Saints Day Tattoo.
We know her too.
That's my daughter.
No kidding.
That's my daughter.
That's
my daughter.
No shit.
That's my oldest daughter.
See, that's what I'm saying about the 6 degrees. So we knew you before we even knew you.
Absolutely.
So that's crazy. Cool.
So with her, she's so fucking smart. And over the last really 4 years, every time that we sit down and have conversations, and if you know her, you know she went to California and came back after 8 weeks and felt like she failed everybody around her. What she really did is inspired me to go harder for myself, whether she knows it or not. To know her is to love her, and to know and understand that message, me teaching that to her allowed her to be the person she is, to look back me in my face for the last 4 years and say, what do you love to do? Mm-hmm. What do you love doing? Mm-hmm. And she'll tell you, if she was right here, she could tell you what my answer is. And I would say, girl, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Fuck, I don't know. I love to do everything.
I get it.
I love to do crafts. I love music. Mm-hmm. I love photography. I don't know how to make money doing any of it. Mm-hmm. And she, every time we would meet and every time we talk, she'd say, what do you love to do? Mm-hmm. And I kept it back in my head. I kept hearing my grandma say, you love to talk. You love to talk. I've been in customer service my whole life. Mm-hmm. I could teach you better than I could tell you how to be a good customer service agent. Yeah. Right? And so March 11th of this year, to wrap this up so we won't get to wrap-up questions, March 11th of this year, I've been studying digital marketing on TikTok because that's where the money's at. So if you don't know, you better get in it. Mm-hmm. It's expected to be a $1.5 trillion industry by 2030. We're talking 4 years less than the pandemic's been around, y'all. I'm not going to sit by and watch the bag pass me by for many reasons. One, the billionaires are doing it. Yeah. They use digital marketing and we don't even realize that's what they're doing, right? Mm-hmm. Also, I watched a woman on TikTok in 10 weeks make $326,000 working 2-3 hours a day because she bet on herself, right? And so March 11th, I said, man, I got to figure this thing out. March 13th, 2 days later, I bought into the program called Standing on Business, which is a young lady, Lebe. She also digital marketing. She bought into a program to try to figure out how to make money. The program she bought into was too complicated, also too expensive. She redesigned, recreated. She's been in business 8 months. She's $700,000 into having her own business. I say all that to say about a month later, 4 weeks of educating myself in Standing on Business, 24 hours in, I had a jingle for the podcast, which I had been requesting for 2 years for someone to make. 48 hours into the program, I had a whole different level of understanding what print on demand looks like and how you should be doing it. 2 weeks into the program, I made 4 sales on Etsy. In 3 years prior to that, I had only made 2 sales in 3 years. Nice. By week 4, I said, fuck my job, I'm all in. And I looked at my boss, and on April 15th, I put in my 2 weeks, and May 1st, I walked away. Since then, I've been shown revelations of things that betting on myself will always forever be the best decision I made for myself. I'll never look back. I'll never punch another clock. And I put that on everything I love. I stand 10 toes on it. There's too many things that I have. I've worked in so many fields. I've networked with the best of the best. I've been all over this country with people that are dope as hell. And like the people like Hakeem, Justin, Selena Taylor, Davita Quinn, all these people that I work alongside and I come to and I support their events are the reason that I've confidently left my job. And I haven't made $1 in digital marketing yet, outside of the things I've learned to do with digital marketing on the other side. Yeah. But transcending and life changing, honestly, to say, what do you want to do? I can do all these things. I don't have to do one thing. And so I'm betting on myself, but the community is really the force behind hoping I never, ever have to do anything other than make money while I'm sleeping and pour into this community, honestly.
We'll bet on you too. Mm-hmm. Incredible.
Thank you.
Incredible. Seriously.
Thank you.
My rapid question is simple. What's your definition of success?
True peace of mind and happiness, doing what you love to do and making money doing it. Honestly, it's just the only way. Our days are numbered, and the only thing we don't know is when they expire, right? Yep. And what I'll say is I aspire to be old. I aspire to reach the level of grandparentship that my grandmother has offered and been the staple in our life. We're 5 women, 5 generations of women right now. And weirdly, so Grandma Snow, she's a Gemini, May 27th, 1936. She's dope. My mom, November 6th, 1950. Yeah, she'll be 70 this year. She'll be 71 this year. Shit.
Scorpio.
72. She is a Scorpio. She's a very stubborn Scorpio. And then you got me, May 31st, 1978. You got my daughter, August 16th, 2005. And then my great grandbaby is May 27th, May 29th, 2023. So you have eldest is a Gemini, middle is a Gemini, the bottom is a Gemini. And when I tell you the 3 of us are more alike than probably we all know, watching my granddaughter, she's a certified Yapper Junior, and she already has her own podcast. She's not even 3.
Awesome.
So she loves to talk. She's philosophical. She's intelligent. She talks like an 8-year-old. She's almost as big as me. And yeah.
Awesome.
So we're going to do this thing, and we're not stopping.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
That's mine. That's my wrap up.
If you had one word to describe your entire journey from where you started to where you're going to end up, and it has to be one word, what would it be?
Proud.
Beautiful.
If you now met younger you, would you get along with her? And like vice versa, would she get along with you now?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I was dope as fuck as a kid. I really was.
Awesome.
Like, listen, one of the things about me, and I think probably most people that know me or have ever really experienced me in any kind of setting, one thing people will probably tell you about me is I just love people, and I love to hear stories. I love to talk.
Yep.
I love to understand why people are who they are, because it's important to understand why people maneuver their own life, right? And then to go deeper than that, once you understand why people around you that love you treated you the way they did, then you have another level of a place that you can forgive and grieve differently, which is what I've done with my parents. And that's a whole nother story. But my parents still have chosen to not be a part of our life as adults. it's distant. I do see my dad. He's actually cool as fuck. Shady Grady is fire. But he doesn't come out of his house, right? My mom, essentially, my mom or my dad have never met my grandkids. My children have never stayed the night with my parents, right? So when we're talking, there's some trauma there, but I finally convinced my baby daughter to let my 3-year-old granddaughter meet my dad. And it was a week and a half ago. For me, it was a moment in time that I needed. Because there's a disconnect and we need to fix it. I don't have a relationship with none of my family. And I hope they're sitting back and understand that the trauma made me who I am. And honestly, like the tearing down and rebuilding of yourself, when you finally look at the mirror, January of 2016, when I decided to leave my ex-husband, I looked in the mirror and I honest to God didn't know who the fuck I was looking at physically. I said, girl, who are you? Where did that girl go? Where did that confidence go? You let somebody take that from you, and it's time to take it back. And I hope my family, in all the dysfunction and distance, I hope one thing they understand, which I did just see my sister in March. I traveled to Kentucky and we had to jump some hurdles because I almost didn't go. But I hope that they understand that the love has never been lost. Right. And I think part of what we have to understand is when you understand their trauma and that they didn't choose healing for themselves is the reason that you've been put in the place you've been. And so I've chosen healing 100% for myself, especially I've been single 10 years. I've been single since I've been divorced, mainly for healing, maybe for discovery of my own self, and honestly to lean into the one person I know that will never give up on me, which is me. And so I hope that in all of this, the one thing that my family sees and knows and understands, and I hope they believe, is that I love them for who they are, for exactly where they are. And I actually appreciate that everything that has happened leading to me sitting right here today has happened. Honestly, it sucks. I've hated to endure it, mainly because my kids didn't deserve to not have that part of their family. But me and my kids are fucking dope. And I promise you it's a legacy in the city because I refuse to walk away knowing that in the capacity and the person I am, raising biracial children, also having a transgender daughter, I've lived experiences that I can sit in rooms and talk about, that the message will be heard. And so when I say I use my white privilege to my advantage, you're fucking right, I am. If I can get in spaces and make a difference that you might not let somebody else in the door, I'm going to come kick them doors in, and I'm going to let you know that white privilege is not okay. And yeah, my kids deserve to be seen and heard as for exactly who they are. And I promise you, Lana is more happy now than she ever was as a suicidal child, fighting her identity.
I think that's why we see so eye to eye on a lot. I've said that to Justin since day one, is he can open doors that I can't, and I can open doors that you can't. And that's why we just like, I mean, besides we're friends, like there's other reasons,
right,
but we really like, it's naive, unfortunately, to think that that's not still happening.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, it absolutely is.
It sucks.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And it absolutely 100% happens. My kids experience it. I also, being in relationships with Black men, have experienced police brutality. I should call the sheriff out right now because he's on the Jackson Police Force. And I tell you, when he brutalized me and my ex-husband in our house and terrorized us, it was terrifying. And he's still right now employed by the city of Jackson. And one day I might tell the story, but I tell you what, if I ever tell the story, I hope somebody figures it out, because it was disgustingly racist. It was very much directly related to race and them knowing who and what my husband was prior to us being married. Gotcha. So I'll tell the story one day. Yeah, I'm going to kick in doors, and I'm going to stand arm to arm, shoulder to shoulder with the people that really want better for our children, our grandchildren, this community, because Jackson honestly is dope. Jackson is dope. We deserve it. 517, and we can rock this, but we all got to band together. And as podcasters, as people in media, really, literally everybody that owns a business, everybody that is out here trying to hustle and all the things, they should be advertising through us and not JTV.
Yeah.
They should be coming to us for the media. They should be coming to this. And if we can really do what we need to do, then we'll be the media Jackson. And that's how it should be.
Yep.
We got to take back.
100%.
We got to take back what's ours. And that means staying in the spaces with the people that are being marginalized out. And we got to pull them in and be them people.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it all day.
We're here with you. Awesome.
Absolutely. Let's
Thank you
work.
for coming on.
Yes,
Seriously,
absolutely.
Thank
Very
you.
much.
Yes, ma'am. With them nails, y'all. Got them nails. We got all the nails. And I got the same camera, so now I know I'm doing it right. Hey!
Thank you guys
Thanks
doing
for
it, man.
watching.
When we cut the camera.